I am just in.
So how did we get to a new year already? Well, welcome to it. We've just been getting ready for action after the holidays, and apparently, from what I hear, it's busy. I just put out a little email and a blog article entitled "It Feels Different," and I really hit me the other day that in the past 3 years, in 21, 22, 23, we began each year with some amazing calamity of sorts, whether it was shortages, whether it was glass impossible to get, whether it is barrel prices last year. And so much of that has settled down. But there's still this crazy uncertainty. And I think what's interesting is that we know I'm not saying there are no shortages, but production has caught up. In terms of, and we're seeing prices come down. I don't know if this is a blip, on the wholesale market, I'm talking. But I think it's ultimately becoming more of a buyer's market. It's been a seller's market, from at least from the wholesale bulk spirits. So that's kind of an interesting thing that I'm seeing. I don't know if anyone else here is starting to see some new trends. I mean, Carrie, there's so much talk about wine and what's going on with trends in wine. Have you? What's your outlook?
It's all of this, well, no alcohol, low alcohol, that is continuing. The product that I was telling you about that we're about to launch that I couldn't tell you about the last time, we're about to kick off. It just started, it's shipping next week, but it's going to be a still Prosecco.
A still Prosecco.
Yep.
So
Huh.
how does that work?
What does that mean?
So in other words, there's no bubbles in
So
Prosecco.
it's
Not sparkling.
it's basically Glera based. I
Uh-huh.
know most of you guys are whiskey guys, but if you don't know what Glera is, but Glera is usually the white grape that makes Prosecco. But it's just made in like as a still wine without the bubbles. So it's a whole new category. I feel like it's going to be very tough and challenging to commit the message to people, like
Because it's Prosecco is so synonymous with sparkling.
well, I know.
Is it called something different?
It's called Prosecco Still. It absolutely has the word Prosecco on it. We're doing schematics right now with different distributors. The guy in Florida at Southern that does all that drew up some shelf sets for us and thinks that we should put it in the sparkling section. There's other people, particularly the people here in Georgia, we've already presented it to, think it should be with the still wines. It does. Okay, so I left something out. It's a line extension of a brand that we already have. So the Prosecco bottle looks like a Prosecco bottle, and then we have a still bottle that looks like the still bottle. This is going in the still bottle. So I feel like there's going to be confusion with the Pinot Grigio and the other varietals if we just put it in the still wine section.
What is the flavor profile? How does it compare?
That was my question. Yeah. Is it close to Prosecco or?
Yeah, but it doesn't. So I got, my ass reamed out a little bit for it, but I was like, oh, so is this before we tasted the sample? I was like, well, is this just going to be like me drinking flat Prosecco that I've left in my refrigerator? And I was like, oh God, you would have thought like, I still work here barely, but I would tell you every distributor that we presented it to was really pleasantly surprised. So, I mean, Glera is kind of like a neutral white, it's not completely dry like a Pinot Grigio. It's got a little fruit to it, but everybody was, I'm going to use the word surprised, because I think in anyone's head, even like my friends that I've told this about over the holidays and New Year's, I mean, the only thing you could think of is it's going to taste like flat Prosecco that's been in your refrigerator for 4 days and it's lost its bubbles. Right. But it's actually not.
Well, that's
however, just because my friends and the people at the distributor have, you're talking about communicating this message to an entire country.
Yeah.
So we've got Neckers on it. The cap says, if you like me with bubbles, try me still. We have all different little, hold on, get down. little cliche things. It's, the one owner of my company, it's like his whole goal is, when you go to a restaurant and you sit down at the table and you're going to get water, and they said he would want sparkling or still.
Yeah,
So,
Interesting.
and there are
I
definitely.
mean, that's going to take years to get to, but we're pretty sure other companies are going to follow suit.
But you're
I
first.
mean, me and Noto just launched an alcohol-free Prosecco a couple weeks ago.
So, but yours is not alcohol-free, yours.
No, it's not alcohol-free.
sparkling.
It's regular alcohol content, regular sugar, everything is the same, except it's not made with bubbles.
I'd be interested.
I
to
mean,
try.
I think it's a very big challenge, but
Yeah.
I do think the wine business is so down that we've got to start coming up with different things, or everyone's just going to be drinking these cans and these these RTDs and everything else. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's worth a shot. It's not my idea, but.
So
All right,
it's
we're
rolling out in Florida and Georgia.
I'm sorry.
You said it was rolling out in Florida and Georgia?
In New York, it's rolling out over the whole country.
Okay. Cool. Interesting. Well, we'll look, I'll keep an eye out. What's the brand?
Voga.
Voga.
Oh, Voga. I love Voga.
So this product comes in the same cylinder bottle that the still wines that we currently have are coming in.
I love it. That's cool.
All right. Well, that's a good nugget of news for the new year.
I
Right?
had to be secretive because we hadn't made the rounds across the country yet to tell all the distributors. So I didn't want to not that this is like breaking news or earth shattering. But I really needed to keep it under wraps until we presented it to all the big Southern houses.
Understood. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. All right, Sherman, how are you?
I am well. I'm well. Happy New Year to everybody.
And
Hope
to you?
everybody's.
You too, Sherman.
I've been in just report and invoicing week as we finish the year. I feel honored anytime I get an email even returned this week. We've been a bit more productive than I anticipated with some supplier calls and going over reports and invoicing. One thing I can see happening is to the brand at this point, nobody is saying take the foot off the gas. Nobody. In terms of tastings and samplings and activity. They're like what, we were on with whiskey brands yesterday, 2 of them, and they're like, nah, we don't do dry January here. If you can get stuff booked, do it. There are still people drinking whiskey in January and February. Let's move. And now we've still got about 6 or 8 major brands to have conversations with, but I already know from conversations we had in Q4 that as soon as we can start calling stores next week, we can start booking, certainly for February. We're seeing strong desire to continue on the app front, Michael. For those of you guys who remember the technology play, we've got a full-time engineer now on the project, and we kind of do a soft relaunch at the end of this month, Michael, here in Nashville, really taking it to another level, and have some really great people in place to start rolling that out with certain campaigns. It looks like we'll get some fairly national exposure with respect to an event that we're working down in Dallas in June through the spring. So we've got enough time to work through some rebrands around the app technology, the landing page, so to speak. So I look forward to keeping you guys up to date on that. But on the sampling side, we did about 800 events last year, and my goal is to take that way up this year. We know we've got 2 brands that are going to roll out nationally with us, and we'll start in the Southeast in Atlanta in your market, Michael, and then move into some work in Dallas. We've got a chance to acquire a sampling company down there that averages about 300 a month, and that could really help bolster the relationships.
Who's the company?
I'm not like you. I'm not able to say yet.
Oh, okay. Because I might be looking to make some changes. So I don't, if you want to talk to
You
me.
might need to hire them for your
Yeah,
There's
we're
still
getting it.
Prosecco.
We're planning on doing 1,000 tastings for the launch. So
Fantastic. I mean, it's almost, you can't do it without it, right?
No.
You have to be very
No.
lucky.
no one's going to
to-
understand it at all just by picking up the bottle. We've got to do
Right.
tastings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm looking for, Carrie, so you know, is companies that are interested in that 1,000 sample footprint. We'd like to do 12,000 this year across the country. That's my target. And that's not as many as you may think. That 800 we did was just in the Nashville market. And we don't think we had over 30% of the total business here in this market last year. So there were probably 3,000 events in Nashville alone last
Wow.
year.
Hmm.
So it's staggering how many of these things are taking place across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting. I did go through a few liquor stores, during the holiday period, and every time I went, there was a tasting going on or something. They weren't necessarily the most dramatic. It was like a couple bottles of champagne before you get to the,
Sure.
champagne tasting before, on the week before New Year's, before you get to the checkout. But it was happening, and it was definitely, I felt there was more presence.
We're
Probably two or three
delivering some data through the use of an app technology from Overproof, Mark DeKuyper's company down in Florida, that when I share the aggregate reports around categories, whiskey, tequila, that we've done in this market, people are literally blown away. They're saying they've never seen data from a sampling company like we're giving them. And it's exciting. So we're getting a lot of support from Overproof down there. And I almost hate
They're
to
good
see other
people.
agencies learn about that technology because it's
Yeah,
been so effective for us.
Oh,
So
Overproof are
appreciate it,
good
Michael.
people.
What's your
Pardon?
experience with them, Sean?
Yeah, the group from Overproof, they're really good people. The
Welcome.
national sales manager for Jägermeister worked for them for years, and we were in contact all the way through the time. We used to do a program with them with Capriccio when Capriccio was at its booming stages. 35,000 cases, a million cases in 2 years. It was a lot of that demographic was being used down in the Florida area.
Yep. Yep. I'm having them put together some research on old fashions right now, with respect to an on-premise pitch for a brand,
Okay.
a whiskey. And, they derive data from, 100,000 POS systems out there and can tell you down to the cocktail level, the wine glass level, what's going on in restaurants across the country. It's pretty staggering.
And I just got a deck today for a brand that's launching a new line of RTDs led by an old fashioned that's, full, like, I don't know, 29% alcohol or 28% alcohol. So it's a
Yeah.
real cocktail. Tony, you should tell people what you're up to, because you've got some exciting things happening.
Yeah. We were talking earlier, the launch of the new Icon of the Seas Royal Caribbean ship later this month. So been working with Royal Caribbean for the last year on this project. And it's when it launches, it'll be the largest cruise ship on the seas, over 7,000 passengers, 25.
7,000.
Oh,
Wow.
that seems,
It's so, I mean, I've been on several of their ships that are larger, but this will be the largest. I was just with them for a week in Spain and Cadiz at the shipyard, and it's really strange to kind of be on the ship with no guests on the ship. But there were like 2,500 workers just putting the final touches on everything, and just all the equipment for the restaurants and the bars, and then it's mind-boggling how the whole thing comes together. But it made the crossing from Cadiz. It's in Puerto Rico right now. I'll join the ship on the 16th in Miami, and the inaugural cruise will leave on the 22nd. So, if there's any cruisers out there, it's something to behold. It really is. It's
So how many bars do they have?
I don't actually know how many bars they
Yeah.
have. I'm in charge of developing programs for 6 of them. So they've actually hired myself and Kim Hasserud and another mixologist, and kind of split up the main specialty restaurants and bars. So yeah, I'll know more next time we talk after the inaugural.
So like you, if you're creating the menu, then are you also involved in sourcing all the ingredients for them?
Very little. I
Okay.
don't know if anyone's worked with the cruise industry before, but everything was really bought in bulk and through duty free. So, you know, they get the best pricing that way, and they've got, you know, contracts with a lot of probably all the big suppliers. So I make suggestions, you know, obviously if there's products that we need to source for specific drinks,
Right.
they'll put on that. You know, it's just the volume, if you can imagine, you know, people are on a ship, so drinking is one of the main activities.
Right.
And they really put a lot of focus on that, but
Sometimes it's the only activity.
sometimes it's the only activity. And you know, this ship will only sail the Caribbean. You know,
Michael Clancy is feeding information into this combo here. He's suggesting,
Nice.
he's reminding everyone of Frugal Pack would be good on the ship.
No, Eco Spirits.
Okay.
Eco Spirits. So this is the 4.5 liter refillable, reusable tote.
Oh, right.
So Bacardi have already been using that out of Miami.
yeah.
On the ships.
So it's well worth looking at, because again, just minimizes the waste on board.
I think I just introduced Eco to Levy Restaurant Group.
Okay. You're dealing with Z, are you?
With I'm sorry.
With Zdenek Kastanek. He's the Eco Spirits guy in the States.
Okay, and who else does he work with in Miami? Chris.
They're working with Park Street, I think, in the States.
Yeah, Chris Hopkins is who I was working with.
Okay, yeah.
I've known Chris forever, and so he's very involved with that. And we actually, I know he's working on the cruise lines with Eco Spirits. So
yeah, no,
because
cool.
so much of that is I mean, anything that can be reusable or cuts down on the impact that, I mean, you just imagine squeezing that many lemons. It's just everything has to be accounted for. So it's
Mhm.
they're very conscious of that. And waste is a big concern. So yeah, hopefully we're going to do something with them as well.
Cool. That's all.
So let's see. Who's here? Brian is here. Brian and Lisa are here with names only. Brian, what's going on? How was your end of the year, and what's your outlook for what's happening in the drinkubator space?
Hey everybody.
Hey.
Happy New Year. The year actually ended way better than but the whole year was weird. I don't know if you guys, all of you know, but I'm on the biz dev side of our business, and the year was just weird. We had projections based on the previous year where we thought we were gonna see growth. And usually fourth quarter, you know, everybody's heads down. It's O&D, brands aren't making any changes. And thankfully we closed like 4 pieces of business in December, which in 6 years we've never closed 1 piece of business in December. So anyway, I'm excited about that. We're onboarding new clients. My team's onboarding this month and next, which is like totally you know, a blessing and exciting. The problem is it's all whiskey and tequila. All of our new clients are whiskey and tequila, and we try to do the best that we can, you know, stay diverse, and represent all the categories. But yeah, the end of the year was great. I think, you know, I talked to one of the founders of Soonish yesterday. I don't know if you guys know Soonish or not. But he was telling me his story of last year and just how difficult it was to be in his category as a founder, new brand, new category, trying to get funding, distribution, and how they had to make changes. They had to move from independent distributors to a larger distributor just to get any kind of traction at all. And I think I heard that a lot from a lot of brands, especially in the RTD category and the non-alc category, that it's just so competitive and it's so difficult right now. So that was an interesting conversation I had yesterday. It was one of the first meaningful conversations of the year. I'm with Sherman. It's like, if you can get anything done with anybody else this week, it's great, because it seems to take everybody has a hangover from the holidays, it seems like. But yeah, I'm super excited about 2024. We've got some really cool things on the docket as far as technology goes that we're working on. You know, we were talking about, you guys were speaking about Overproof. We're working with those guys. We know Nick and the team down there, and we just formalized our strategic partnership with them at the end of last year. So what that means is essentially a lot of brands will take on an Overproof or an Any Road or one of these platforms that is designed to give them data that they can leverage, and they get excited about it. They sign up. And then what we hear from all of these platforms is, you know, we're just waiting for the attrition to happen, because they don't know how to manage our data. They don't know how to manage our platform. They know how to sign up for it, but then when the data starts coming in, they don't know what to do with it. And so I approach these platforms and say, hey, we'll do that for the brands. It's a win-win for everybody, because we're going to monetize what your platform is doing for them. We're going to actually put it to good use and do the grunt work to make it bear fruit. And so we're doing that now with Overproof with a couple of our clients. But yeah, I mean, everything is good. It's been a little chilly down here in Florida. That's the only thing that I wish could change. It's been below 60 degrees for like a week. So,
Well, it's chillier than most everywhere else than that. Yeah, exactly, Cheryl. Right? Gee, we feel terrible for you. It's chilly. All right, so Vanessa and Ernesto have joined us. Welcome to the new year. Anyone who has any headlines regarding what they've felt at the end of last year, or what they're seeing as opportunity or challenge as we begin the new year. I mentioned at the outset, for those who were here, you know, that I just wrote a little post that said it feels different. And I was really thinking back, and for those few who were on the beginning, sorry I'm repeating this, but, you know, thinking back from 21, 22, 23, we began every year with some sort of major calamity, whether it was bourbon shortages, then it was glass, then it was barrel prices, then it was, you know, acquisitions that kind of disrupted the supply availability. And it feels like that's all settled down now. It doesn't mean that there aren't other challenges, but from a standpoint of that, and pricing has come down a bit on new fill, slightly. And in some cases, I'm not sure if it's a trend yet, or if it's just somebody looking to dump something. So we don't know how much going to sustain that, but it's been an interesting, I would say, month and an interesting week. So anyway, Vanessa, what's new with you? You always have something new.
I still, Happy New Year, everyone.
I saw was your Grenada? Did I see you? Is that where you were?
Yeah, we were in Grenada. That was about a month ago. But
Was
wait a
that?
minute. That was last year, yeah.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
I'm still in 2023 right now. I'm supposed to be on vacation, starting my 2-month vacation, but I'm finishing a client's project, which will probably end January 15th, right after Martin Luther King's birthday, because we had to do some extra stuff for him. That's
You
fine.
say a 2-month vacation?
Yeah. We normally take January and February off.
Wow.
Yes. And, it's not like completely, well, the employees are off, but we work 16 hours from November to December.
Yeah.
So that way we can make up and do that. And it allows me to get my facility together. I had like inspections. It's better just to get things done when no one's there.
Yeah.
And then I can, do my invoices and go over what, my budget is going to be for the year for advertising, or, I take this time to do little things. Of course, I'm going to be in Florida spending time with my daughter. And then I just put in a whole bunch of formulas that got approved for TTB and COLAs. So I take that time, that downtime, to just restructure and see what we've done for the previous, see what, we did for last year, and then move forward for the upcoming year, in terms of placements. I mean, I just got a purchase order yesterday and I'm like, I've never gotten a PO January 3rd or from anyone ever.
I hope it's a reorder.
No, it is. It
Yeah.
is.
So, okay. So at least that's a good thing, because then they sold through in December.
Right. So they're like staying ahead of the game, but I'm like, let me get through my inventory. So it's really good. We're making a lot of changes. I'm trying to, I just ordered some equipment. So I got new equipment coming in, which will be for the new place once that's together. But what I'm seeing out there right now, several retailers have been talking to me about having, can I do such as a larger, like 175s? I'm thinking I'm going to invest more into the 175 niche with cocktails
Mhm.
and try. Like I have an espresso martini that'll be coming out in Q2, but it's not Black Mama, it's Big Mama cocktails,
In a big
you
box.
know, Big Mama, because it's a Big Mama, it's a big grit, 175. So this trend right now, I don't know, it's the low ABVs, and people are looking for things that are price conscious. So I'm gonna tap that, with my distributor. So there's a lot of different things that's going on. I'm importing some tequila, so I'm here. I think I've been here consistently for over a year. But that's all I got right now till I get on vacation.
All right, well, it sounds like you probably, it's not really vacation. It's a working, it's a working period that you don't have to be
Yeah,
managing other.
but everybody else is off. I mean, that's how it is when you're the CEO.
That's
You're the
right.
CEO, and everybody else benefits except for you. You're still working.
All right, Ernesto, what's new with you in the new year?
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Nothing really. I guess it's the same deal. Really slow. I just got back from Mexico on Wednesday. I was down there for 3 weeks. In Jalisco, Zacatecas, Aguascalientes, visiting with suppliers, but on a more personal level. Spending some time at
In other
Palais.
words, sampling their wares.
Yeah, stuff that's coming up, new stuff that's coming up. I tasted some Mexican whiskeys that are very interesting. Thinking of bringing, well, we are going to be, they're very small batch, like I should have it written down here. They've got 300 liters a month is their production. You know, it's very with corn. I guess you call it endemic corn, like native corn, Mexican native corns and stuff like that. So it's something really interesting coming up. So new projects, stuff like that. Also, you know, checking up on our agave fields, where our agaves are everybody has agave that's mature now. You know, 7, 8 year olds. They're in a little bit of a panic because the price is, you know, has dropped like 80% or something like that. You know, but other than that, it's really tranquil, nice and smooth. Nothing's going on right now. Nobody wants to buy. You know, I went out yesterday, visited some customers, and they're like, oh my God. You know, they look at me like, what are you doing here? We don't need you right now. We're full of stuff, you know, all the gift packs, all the big inventory that all these retailers bought, you know, OND, you know, they're just gonna, you know, get rid of it, dump it. On the seltzers ready to drink, we're dumping our stuff. It's you know, we're not gonna be going forward with any of that stuff. It just sits. We're gonna be
out there in the market.
yeah, I mean, there's a bunch out there, and I guess there's a few brands that are moving, but the products, because we have 3 or 4 brands, and of them, you know, we're in the big retailers, stuff like that, but they're just super slow, and yeah, I think we're gonna be getting out of that canned market for the moment, at least. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
cold here in California too. It's 50. We got a jacket. It's cold. We're not used to
Quick
Hey,
question.
Brian, where did you relocate to?
Yeah.
Are you in a store?
Oh, me? I'm
Yeah.
in a bookstore. Sorry, I thought I was muted. I apologize.
Oh, that's all right. You're fine. I was just trying to figure out what your backdrop was. I didn't know. All right, Michael Clancy. So what else is in your wheelhouse for the next quarter?
Yeah, for the next while, we've a lot of travel booked up, lined up, different things happening. So, early in February, about a month's time, I'm going to Belgium for a whiskey festival. Then in end of February, start of March, I'm actually going to the US. So I'll be in Ohio for about 5 days. And then later in March, then we'll have Pro Wine coming up. And there's a couple of other things that we're lining up as well. So it's just that this is kind of where we're at the moment. It's kind of one of those weeks. I heard somebody saying nothing much is really happening at the moment. People are sort of back at work, but not really until next Monday. What you have at the moment, I was talking to some of the others today, and it's all these sales people ringing you looking to sell you stuff. Completely unrelated stuff, software and all sorts of stuff that they just got your name on a database somewhere, or picked you up on LinkedIn or whatever, and they're all content new year and blah blah blah. They're full of beans, ready to go out and fill their funnels, you know. But yeah, no, kind of for us, proper start back next week, with gusto. But yeah, look, busy year lined up ahead. We do kind of contract products for people, so we have a few projects that we're working on that I'm kind of getting stuck into next week. And yeah, just dealing with all the regulatory stuff then that we all have to deal with as well, which doesn't go away, unfortunately. So yeah, so that's what I suppose any of you guys coming over this side of the pond for Pro Wine or anything like that, if that's in your plans, let me know. I'll be happy to catch up with you. Or equally, if any of you are around Ohio in the start of March, that weekend I'll be on a whistle stop tour of Ohio.
So do you have distribution there?
Yeah, well, we have, so we're part, Ohio is controlled state, so we have stock gone over there to the Ohio Liquor Board. So yeah.
Carrie's asking a question, different topic. If anyone has an employment attorney they've used or can
Well, I
recommend.
texted it so it wasn't recorded, but thank you.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. We'll cut that out.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. And I think, Vanessa, did you have a question?
It was actually me. I just used Carrie's name.
Oh.
It was
Oh,
me.
yeah, it was you.
I
Oh,
need-
Brian, it was you. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
I misread that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question for Ernesto, since he
Oh,
mentioned
for
it.
Vanessa, okay.
Yeah, well, for anybody who can answer. Are you seeing a decline in the canning RTD market since he was removing? I think he said he was getting rid
They
of.
were not, yeah, he said he's dropping a couple.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
anyone
I've got-
seeing that across the board? Because I saw some of the retailers in New York are just getting rid of them completely.
Yeah. I don't see retailers getting rid of their RTDs, their other canned stuff. They're just so much here on. I mean, there's aisles and aisles. I mean, you go into a Total Wine and it's
Pricey.
there's a bunch of stuff. So we've got in there we've got two brands. One brand has 4 flavors, another brand has 3 flavors, and I go in there as a vendor and I'm looking for it. I know what I'm looking for, and I can't find it. I gotta get where is this? Oh, it's right here. It's 3 can facing or whatever. So it's just so saturated. And for what we one of them, our tequila based RTDs has expiration dates. So having to expiration date, having to swap stuff out and stuff, it's and then the recycle thing with the cans, it's for us, I think we're too small. It's too much of a headache for the margin that we make on that to be going through all of that movement. So it's I was talking to my son Ernesto yesterday because I think we've got about 9 pallets of mix and match can stuff, and we're gonna go talk to a guy that does closeout stuff here in SoCal, and we're just gonna dump it, 50 cents a can, and just to get rid of it for the space.
Yeah, because I saw price. When I say the soups, some of the retails, I've seen it here. The prices are oh, this is really cheap, and they were like, yeah, oh, we're making room.
Yeah, we're making room here at the warehouse. Yes.
I mean, it's the leaders in the categories are still, that's where it is. They're dominating. And
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
Yeah. If you looked at, I was just reading the Brown-Forman year-end report, and they're really crediting, obviously in their case, it's Jack and Coke with really driving, revenue and volume more so than the traditional products. And, I think even High Noon, although it's softened, is still, kicking ass in that category, from what we've been seeing. I think I mentioned today, I just got a pitch deck from a brand that has it's a reasonable size startup with some very heavyweight Hollywood connections to it. But I was surprised to see how many they had, probably 25 SKUs.
Wow.
I think there were 5 tequila based. There were 3 whiskey based. There was, ranch water, in addition to that, which has a tequila element. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but They have a good brand. It's I can tell you what it is. It's 666 Ranch, the Taylor Sheridan Ranch, which is the ranch that they filmed Yellowstone at.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Yeah, they just released a Frito ad on TV for Fritos and their flour corn dipped chicken on the ranch that's been a partnership for 100+ years. It's kind of crazy.
yeah, that flavor. Sherman, you posted something about that flavor, right? Was it the Doritos or the Fritos?
Fritos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's an interesting plan, and it's very ambitious. They're in a bunch of markets now, and apparently there's going to be product placement related to some of these upcoming shows that are coming back. I don't know how they're going to do that in Yellowstone, which is in 1944, but we'll have to see.
It's been interesting watching these Yellowstone products. We've had so many people contact us for different celebrity-based contract distilling and so forth, but they're not releasing in Montana or Wyoming.
They're not.
Nope.
Why is that? Wouldn't you think that that's where they would be? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, small states, small populations, but probably a fair amount of backlash on just whole vibe. It's not the normal up here. And so I think there's this romance playing off of that's not probably part of most of our, say, lifestyles.
In other words, it's kind of like it's all the outsiders, the carpetbaggers care about this. But
yep. Yeah.
Lisa.
Yes.
Lisa. I'm sorry, y'all. Were you a realtor in New York or a teacher?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought someone, okay. You were never in New York?
Nope, always in Montana. Nope, had restaurants for 30 years and the distillery for coming on 14 years.
You're in Montana. Okay,
Yep.
I'm thinking of the distillery in Arizona. That's I thought I got you confused. Yeah, but I gotta call you. I gotta call you. I gotta come into Montana.
Yeah, I gotta go to Montana, but probably better to do it in the spring or summer.
Yeah.
Right, Lisa, what's the weather like today?
Sunshine, blue sky, and probably going to be 35, 40. So it's pretty nice. We haven't had it yet this year.
No snow?
No, it's been a very strange year. Really shorts.
Tony, you have something coming up that we want to talk about.
Yeah, I'd love to get everyone involved who is making or selling spirits, but it's the third annual TAG Global Spirits Awards here in Las Vegas. Kicks off on March the 5th and finishes on March the 8th, which is a Friday night. And we have our big gala that we do for the charity that I started, the Helen David Relief Fund, which benefits bartenders going through cancer treatment. And that'll be held at the Moon Bar on top of the Palms Casino. It's just a gorgeous venue, and we'll have 20 different suppliers with bartenders making drinks and featuring spirits, and all benefiting the Helen David Relief Fund. So if you find yourself in Las Vegas, would love to see you on that Friday night, the March 8th, for the pink tie. But yeah, like I said, if you have any spirits you'd like to submit to the TAG Global Spirits Awards, we're open right now for entries. So I can definitely get more information on that, or you can visit the website, TAG Spirits, TAG, well, it's the TAG Global Spirits Awards. You'll find the website.
You can find it. Yeah. The Moon Bar, what's at the top of I've been there. I did an event there, God, 20 years ago. And I don't think, what was it called then? There's another name for it.
I think it's 2 levels. There's the sky or the view lounge, and then the Moon.
There's the level which has the outdoor big patio, but that's 2 levels, right?
That's 2 levels. Yeah. I believe that used to be the Playboy Club when they first opened.
Of course, Michael was
There you go,
there.
Michael. That was like a
No, it wasn't
total
the Playboy.
Oh,
setup.
it slipped my mind. I can't remember.
I'll tell you what it was. I
Total
don't
setup.
remember, but this is dating. So this had to be 2006 or 7, when the first Superman movie was of the new franchise was coming out, and the whole event was based on kryptonite, and the whole place was lit green. And that was back in my ice days. So I don't even remember what we did, but we did something with like Superman logos on cocktail ice or something. And it was there. Anyway, it was many moons ago. Now that it's called the Moon Room.
Well, speaking of Vegas, is anyone doing WSWA?
You know, I was planning to, but I am not going. I did go to, I think the timing of it is weird because they just did the.
Well, they changed it. It's in like 3 weeks now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The last WSWA was like.
It usually
6 months
conflicts
ago.
with Vin Italy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I am not, but I don't know if anyone else is. And it seems like I saw that they had extended like the registration deadline or the housing.
I think
block.
they're having a hard time getting people because we're just participating now at the last minute as of like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think because the timing was, it was in Orlando, and I think it was like May, April, May. It feels like, I feel like, didn't I
Yeah,
just-
and now it's back to Vegas, and now it's weird.
Yeah, yeah. All right, open forum. Anyone else have any other topics they want to throw into the discussion mix here, into the cocktail glass?
Yeah, I had one thing I wanted to jump in with.
Yeah.
If I could. So in November, end of November, beginning of December, we had the exiting of 2 of our major partners at the distillery. So for probably most of you on the call I have met, there's a few that I have not. I'm the national sales manager for R6 Distillery in LA. And we lost 2 of our major, 1 non-alcoholic and 1 alcoholic suppliers to other distilleries. So in that retrospect, we are taking open calls for new co-packing projects out of California. So that would be the first little tidbit that I like to get out there, is that if anyone knows anyone that's looking for co-packer direction for new brand development on the West Coast, we'd love to get an email or get the feelers out there to the group. And then, so that's the first thing. Second thing is state of affairs. We are entering into Minnesota, Wisconsin in the next 30 days. And then in the next 60 days, going into Arkansas, Oklahoma, Delaware, and Maryland. So good expansion for the distillery and our projects that we have going on right now. Interesting focus point with the caramel flavored bourbon that we have named after the town of Carmel, California. We've seen substantial growth in the 2 new markets that we opened up in 2024. Interesting numbers, 400% growth in both Chicago and Colorado versus California. So we're looking for a really good steady position going into 2024, opening up those new markets. And in California, we saw a huge surgence in with our distributor partner with Southern Glaciers. We reduced our FOB and price to market on our vodka liters and launched a 750 ml co-pack as well on that drove our volume to almost 100% growth. For this year, we reached about 89% just in California. Total portfolio 2 years up about 114%. So we're excited for the next phases of growth and directional pitch, going into the likes of in Q2, Q3, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, and what's the other one I'm missing? Those are the main 3 that we're looking at.
Who is
Texas.
distributing?
right now we're in the middle of talks with Empire for those states, and also I think it's is it National Brands or what's the big one in Tennessee?
Well, there's a couple of big ones in.
Well, yeah, we're with Empire in Tennessee and in Georgia.
Yeah,
Lippman's the biggest.
who is
Lippman.
Lippman.
Lippman? Okay, yeah. So that's kind of the direction that we're going in for the South. It's hard. We're getting a lot of pushback. No one wants new brands. I mean, even my market that I worked in for 13 years, they're in Arizona. The distributor networks down there are just like, we can't even sell the brands that we have to sell right now. So I'm almost in a position. It's like that 50-50 point. Do I go with a little supplier just to get our foot in the door and then wait for, or not supplier, but distributor, and pull from that distributor once I get national account business that I must move into a bigger, a bigger facility, because I heard that conversation go on earlier about a couple of suppliers that had to pull their brands and go with larger distributor networks because they don't want to take on new customers. And just kind of, I guess it's just the way you have to facilitate the needs of the market, right?
Yeah, you also have to be mindful of whether it's a franchise state or not, because you're kind of stuck. Like if in Georgia.
Just lucky in that aspect. So yeah.
What do you
Georgia
know?
is a franchise state, so
What's that?
yeah, I said Georgia is a franchise state,
Right.
so
Yes.
you have to be very careful. Mhm.
Yeah. You're gonna be
Tennessee as
stuck
well.
with whoever you go with, unless they want to trade. What do you
Yeah,
know?
and that's a heartache.
Yeah. OM chocolate liqueur in your market in California. Are you familiar with it?
Who's that?
OM chocolate liqueur.
No, I haven't not heard of that. Is it a
Right.
California chocolate liqueur or is it a Midwest?
It's what part of California? Ramona, California.
Ramona. Okay.
They reached out to me and I hadn't heard, I don't know anything about them. So Tony, you're familiar with OM? Did you indicate?
Yeah, no, I'm very familiar with it. Yeah.
What is it's chocolate liqueur. What is in it?
Not sure what the base spirit is on that, Michael. And I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name who's behind it. But
Jason.
and they do an RTD as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture. It's a cold brew. The
Yeah.
RTD is a cold brew with chocolate liqueur, but the other one is just the chocolate liqueur.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm trying to read what it says. I can't.
It's so funny
Yeah.
just listening, especially just now. I question this too. Even when I go to my liquor store, the Albertsons, just who is drinking all of this stuff? I can't imagine trying to launch a new product today, because it just seems like we're so oversaturated in virtually every department. I know you were talking about wine being down, and I still try to do my part and drink as much wine as I can, but there's just so much out there, and I'm just and I'm hearing they're pulling things and selling it and making room, and I'm just like, where does it all go? Do you feel like we're in a saturated market in adult beverages?
I mean, for sure, with the ready to drinks, that has become a very, that's just overwhelming the amount they're coming in. And plus what they're introducing on a monthly basis.
And I think in the whiskey category, the challenge is that it's still the big brands that are driving the volume. And it's become more of a battleground on price, because so many of the smaller craft, producers, their price points are, twice as much. And it's hard to, I think, drive volume. I look at, brands that, regional brands that are considered relatively successful, but they don't get the shelf space that the big players get, even in their home markets, or maybe if they do, it's for a small little, a barrel pick promotion, but otherwise they're just, 6 bottles on the shelf versus, I don't know, 2 cases, 4 cases, of someone else's.
Yeah, no, I had a gentleman pitching me Snow Tequila. I don't know if anyone's heard of it.
Yep.
Yeah, yesterday, and it's a Cristalino Reposado, and it's fine. It's nothing spectacular, but I said, how are you going to sell this? I mean, who knows what Snow Tequila is? I put it on our back bar. I put it on our list. Unless I put it into a cocktail on the menu, you'll come back in 6 months and I'll still have the same 3 bottles that you just sold me. And
Mhm.
there's just so much space that you can dedicate to new products, because I agree with you, Michael. I mean, it's still Tito's, it's still Patron. I mean, it's hard, I think, to make a mark. Casa
Mhm.
comes along once in a lifetime, and that's
Right, right. How
You
do
know,
they?
Michael, I was going to say, you mentioned, somebody mentioned Albertsons going in there. Albertsons Vaughn's Pavilions in California, they're running their uh, retail price points at 45% on RTDs.
Mm,
Wow.
I mean, if anything's driving higher price points across the country, it's that division in California. They've actually made the independent retailers look at that and be like, well, they're selling it for $13.99. I'm going to sell it for $13.99. They'll get the independent drop of, a 26 case drop, and they will keep it at the same price point because they know they're going to sell it at 45 points.
mhm.
And you can't come in and do any type of side deals to try to get it less. They're like, no, everything's $14.99 or everything's $13.99. Whether they got a good deal on closeout or not, they sell it all for the same. And then the buyers just pick, the purchasing customers just purchase what they want due to the fluctuation of changing a brand from one week to the next week or trying something out with a group of friends. Very interesting market right now in California.
Yeah, it's and there's still I get a lot of early phishing calls from people who want to have a brand and don't realize anything that they think they're just getting the juice and getting a cola is going to put them in business. And I had a distillery earlier this week it's a Kentucky distillery. They do like 50 barrels a month is their total production capacity. But they're they're trying to push brands out there, but they don't have any budget for their brands. They had a great idea for one of them. It's called Eclipse, and an interesting tie-in to the total Eclipse that's coming up. But it's like, wait, that's in 4 months, and you're just launching this brand now. What are you doing for marketing? We don't really have a marketing budget. Well, why do this then? You're not going to sell it. And it's tied to to astronomy and something that's going to happen. I'm sure the brand can live on, but you got to use that opportunity to blow it up right when people are thinking about Eclipse, not afterwards. And they're like, well, we don't really have a budget. Okay. And why are you
I see it
Honestly,
every week.
and why
Yeah.
it's a lovely bottle, but what
yeah.
anyway, so
I honestly think the adult beverage market is completely saturated. Completely. I mean, I got people who are in my inbox and constantly sending me, they want to put a brand out, because either, and it doesn't even matter what it is. Everybody wants to go into the RTD space. They want canning. or, they want a vodka. I'm like, and I try to explain to them, there's so many of the vodkas that are out there, I could take your money, but what's the service of doing that? Because the way I see it is that you're not going to come back because, you got to be something different because there's so many vodkas out there, so I'm always strategizing, seem like every month now, because there's a new brand that's coming out. And then also you got all these celebrities. I was hit up maybe last month by 3 celebrities to make something for them. I mean, yeah. Now, is every celebrity going to jump into the market with 25 SKUs possibly?
Right. Well, that's the problem. You've got the Isley, so everyone thinks, oh, they did it for them, but no one else has the Isley push. And if they're not going to do anything to help, what the hell? It's not gonna
Right. So
How does that brand do when you're not doing those events? Like the thing I saw you at or whatever. I mean, does it sell off the shelf or, I mean, unless they're at a show?
So he came out to Georgia. It's selling.
Yeah, that's where I saw you.
Yeah, but he came out to Georgia. You saw me. He wasn't there. So I
Well,
was
those
there.
the other guys were that were his entourage.
Right. So he came out last month. I wasn't there. At the liquor store, he did a 3-day thing. So it was the package store, a restaurant, and another store. It was like within 3 days, just before Christmas, or maybe the week before Christmas, because he was doing a concert the following week. They sold out. And then now they have, reorders, coming in. So the distributor is the one that's planning that. I mean, Ron Isley, they have their own marketing team, which is great, and they have their own marketing budget. Plus, you got to remember, he is on tour. So when he's coming into a city that he's doing performance with, like he did with Boyz II Men, he's going to capitalize with that. So now they have an entire schedule for 2024 because they're going to come to New York. And so they're planning, the whole team is planning around that. But after this, the first sell-off, the reorders, are coming in because this is going to be like my 4th batch that I'm going to have to do for them.
And are they've mapped the distribution to the tour schedule?
Yeah, I told them to do that. So right now we're going to hit Florida. I know I'm doing the Taste of Black Spirits Miami the end of February because it's Black History Month. So I'm already in the Total Wines out there. So now Total Wines is going to pick them up. So that way when we come out there, they'll be tasting the brands, but he has a strong tie to Florida and also Ohio, and he has a concert. So that makes sense in terms of doing that.
When they're at a venue, I mean, I don't know if the product can get placed in concessions in time for that, but what is he doing to tie in with it during the show?
During the show, like if you go to his show, he has like a screen that's advertising it. Like they've made all these commercials that they've already did. It's in the liquor stores. When you go specific stores, they have the advertising. They even advertise it online. So what I did recently, I just moved all our stuff to Tipsy because I'm tired. So Tipsy, we have a promotion with Tipsy that's coming out. And Isley's, they got a whole commercial for that with Tipsy, and they're doing that on social media. They have like drinks as well. And then they have something that they're trying to do exclusively. Like I explained to them, if you can sell your package, you have your merch. They have merch. You can actually sell your bottle as merch as long as he signs it and it's not open. You know what I mean? That's on there. So it's the way they have their merch set up. They haven't started it yet, but they tested it in a New York market because they had the marketing permit, and it kind of worked out in terms of that. But in other states, what we find out is, as long as it's in a box, and how sometimes you have to order it like through the distributor, like in Georgia, you would have to do that.
Yeah.
And then the distributor would bring it there So that way it's emerged. So that's an entirely new concept in terms of doing something like that with the celebrity, because they have a caravan, so they can, all this stuff that come out of their van with them, the merch. So we're trying that. So it's definitely unique, but they're doing it.
Well,
You
and that's
know,
the
they,
key. So that's different than, someone saying, I want to put my name and face on a bottle. There's a real, you gotta integrate it with the performance, with all the messaging, social, video, everything.
right. And they do that independently,
Right.
and then I'll just help them with distribution, in terms of making the connection,
Mhm.
in specific markets, and we'll see what's there. But if every artist or every celebrity that comes to me come with a package of a marketing team already,
Mhm.
that would be great. But they're
Mhm.
not.
No.
I got a celebrity I think he would do very, very well because he's very relevant. He's a rapper and he's constantly, he's like the now. So I may just take on, make his product for him because it doesn't even matter if he says X, Y, and Z, it's going to sell.
Mhm.
And it's going to sell in his market because he's relevant right now. But what happens when they're no longer relevant?
Right.
That's the key. And they don't have a legacy. So,
Yep. Well, it's too bad that Paula's not here because she's got a lot of stories to tell about Boosie Juice. One of her first celebrity brands is Boosie Badass, who's like really this hardcore rapper.
yeah, I know who Boosie is, but I
Yeah.
never saw his product. Is he
Boosie.
selling well?
I think they still do it. I'm looking for it. It's called Boosie Juice. Let me just Google it here.
He's crazy.
He is crazy. And that's what I was going to say. Here's a guy, he's got a criminal record longer than whatever. Yeah, here's Boosie Juice. It's a
He's
vodka.
crazy.
It's a strawberry. There's a watermelon vodka and a strawberry vodka. It's listed in Total Wine.
And Total Wine has Veil, strawberry vodka, and watermelon. I used to make their strawberry for them.
I'll share a little. Hang on. So let's see. There's Boosie. Boosie Juice. There he is. There we go.
Well, I don't know if they sell them.
Oh, I think I'm sharing the wrong thing, but no. Okay. Now I got it. Anyway, enough about that.
Yeah, anyway.
Anyway, all I know is that when I was, this is going back a couple years ago, and she and I were talking about this, and I went and watched a video of him on YouTube, and I could not understand a word he was saying.
That's not a couple of years. That's now. I can't understand a word he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what is he talking about? I'm like, what the hell? I don't.
Right.
Anyway, enough about him. All right, so I guess we have managed to kick off the year. We all have had some interesting experiences and observations, and who knows what the year ahead will really bring. Let's see, Stephanie, when is our next session? It would be on
Groundhog Day.
February 2nd, Groundhog Day. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, mark your calendars for Punxsutawney Phil. We'll invite him on. We'll
That's
get a
right.
groundhog on here.
That's
And-
absolutely right. We will.
all right. Well, everyone have a great, not so dry January. Although for those of you who want to do that, you're perfectly happy to do that. But I
But
am,
promote to
late.
your friends.
yeah.
Too late.
Mhm.
Trains left
All
the
right.
station.
Do y'all
Yes.
have a lot of friends doing it? Because I actually do. I'm not doing it, but I don't know. It seems like it's becoming bigger and bigger each year.
Seems to
Yeah.
be
Now
getting
there's
more
damp
every year.
January.
Yeah,
Pam had,
that's a better plan.
Pam had
Yeah.
a big idea that she was going to do it, but that hasn't happened. So
I'm not doing it.
That's right. You got
Everybody's
mom.
got to do their part. That's right.
That's right.
Hey
Shoot.
guys,
All
I
right.
just wanted to jump into the wrapper thing. I
Yeah.
have a our Solo Swinkle tequila.
Uh-huh.
What is that?
We did a collab. I don't know if I've told you guys before in the group with Position.
Ah.
So we
Yes.
engraved the bottle. Position. He's the official DJ of Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, you did tell me.
Yeah,
That's
I think I
cool.
told you personally,
Yes.
Vanessa. But yeah, so we're doing this, and he does the same thing. He goes up on stage, and he's got his and this is his label, his black bottle, because our regular plata is the blue, is a blue bottle, and then it's engraved. And he goes around the country, same thing, and he's got a QR code
Yeah, that's
that
nice.
Yeah.
on stage. People order it, and it goes all over the place. So it's
Oh,
kind of
that's-
cool. You know, it's nothing big, but it's these little collabs. And then he's posting all the time on his social media, so we just pick it up and repost. So stuff like that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just-
Well, that's what you need. So, it's at least getting it out there, and the QR code is a great idea. Which it goes right to an ordering site.
Yeah, just this all goes to just one online, one retailer out of San Diego.
Mhm.
They did this sales thing with the QR, so it just goes straight to them, and they ship to wherever they can. So
Mhm.
it's pretty good. Numbered bottles, and this is a added a free tequila, and it's 46%.
Lisa.
Bye.
Yeah.
46% ABV.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Kind of cool. It does pretty well.
Chihuahua on the side there.
It's a Solo Squinkle. So the dog,
Oh, that is okay. Yeah.
it's the
Got it.
brand. It's the Mexican hairless. That's the full name of the
That's
brand,
hairless dog.
of the
Okay.
breed, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just call it Solo, and it kind of fits in with the theme, the rapper, the homie, stuff like that. Because
Yeah.
the gangster Mexican guys are Solo CH, and this is it's pronounced SH. So Solo,
Sure.
Solo Squinkle. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And then all these bottles are engraved with his name, Position.
Mhm. Yeah. Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
So what kind of volume does that do?
We're bottling 1,000 bottles at a time of this, and we're on our second bottling in about a year, so it's not bad. The thing is that it's a $90 bottle
Mhm.
for a blood. Yeah, so it's not really all that cheap, but it does well.
Yeah. Well, and at least it proves that he's got some fan.
Yeah, really good fan base. Yeah, and then all the
you gotta get
promotion that
fan to spend $90.
exactly. Yeah, not everybody can do that, but the promotion that he does, it helps the full line. All just the regular line. Really move out there, because we see it, because that same retailer that does the shipping, he'll all of a sudden he'll tell us, hey, we're shipping a bunch to places that we don't have distribution. Just because people are like, okay, when they try that one, and then they reorder a reposado, the añejo, or the extra añejo, they tell us it's going to the same people. So it's kind of cool. It's embarking. It's
Well, that's good for you.
developing the full line
Yeah.
product. Yeah, and then
That's
on that
good.
one, we just came up with a joven. I don't know if any of you know what a joven in tequila. It's a blend.
Yeah.
So we came up with a joven. It's an 80% plata, which is that same juice. 10% reposado,
Mhm.
and 10% añejo.
oh,
Joven.
nice.
And then this one we bumped it up to 48%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got that kind of a green little tint to it. Kind of cool.
58,
48.
48. That's
Yeah.
still pretty high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
48.
I
And it's
like
very
it.
good.
Makes that margarita with a punch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's yeah. So this is the little neat stuff. We we are doing what we can to elbow our way with the big tequila people with our brands.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing.
Well,
And thank
you know,
all for your ongoing participation. And let's grow together in this new year of 2024. All right. Goodbye to all.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Take care.
See ya.